do you know about mobile money?
Mobile money, yeah. I mean, this mobile transfers.
Okay. Yeah. You know, there's been an argument that began in Parliament, and it was started by the Member of Parliament for Suhum. And he believes that we need proper regulation. And for somebody who has an enterprise in remittances and collection of money, I believe that you'll be interested. But let
property owner.
But let me just start with you.
You didn't let me land on my submission.
What's the main? No. It started from Parliament. What did the Member of Parliament for Suhum really summarily say as to start this whole debate about why we need a certain regulation for now the increasing mobile money activities we have in our country?
Okay. Simply put, this phone of my uncle fundamentally has changed the basis of economics and governance and everything, democracy around the world. It has become a tool for improving the human condition, more than just to saying hi, hello of the old telephones. People on their farms now can just use this to assess the weather conditions and even where to get everything. So it is a natural in the human evolution that applications will be developed such that if I'm sending you money and I know your number and your number is registered, I can just give it to the mobile phone, they will take their commission and send you your money. So the banking as it knows in structure, brick and mortar, has been transformed with the introduction of technology to make it easy. So no matter where you have your phone and an access to a nearest cash point or pay point, you can get the money. It's not only that. In health, in agric, everywhere, the smartphone is changing. There are even applications that is doing wonderful things. Even for health, right? That you are in the remote part of the country, there are apps you can put on your phone, you take a picture of yourself, and a doctor somewhere can diagnose you based upon certain conditions and things. So it's a revolutionary tool. It's just not any other a luxury item again. Okay, one of the applications that have become very, very successful, that is even more successful in developed countries than even developed advanced economics, is mobile money transfer. When you have the M-Pesos in Kenya revolutionizing the banking sector. And if you take away Kenya, probably it's Ghana, then Rwanda, in that order. So, yes, so all of us with that inclination think that not only should we regulate it, we should make sure that transfer, the evil side of technology, is not fostered unnecessarily on unsuspecting customers. Why do I say?
What are their fears?
Okay. When we decided in this country, through our parliament, that every SIM card must be registered, people thought it was Big Brother. It's not Big Brother again. So if the mobile companies had cooperated with government and insisted that every SIM card sold must be pre-registered, then I can know that this number that I'm transferring to is actually going to Roland or my uncle. Right? But if there are still SIM cards in the system, right? Yesterday I called somebody's number and a guy took it. And I said, oh, I thought it was the number of this colleague MP. Said, no. But the MP had used the number for about 5 years. All of a sudden, I called back another line of the MP, said, oh, all of a sudden they cut that line. When I went back, they said I'll give it to somebody. How could they have done that when the number was pre-registered? For government's tax purposes, for government's revenue purposes, for people sending threatening message. People blackmailing people on their phones, especially if you're a political leader.
You want to reach people's messages?
Not necessarily.
But that's what you're saying.
My uncle or myself
infringing on people's privacy.
No, my uncle or myself can just give a lift of a constituent who might decide to blackmail us.
Or even stab you.
I'm just telling you the reality. I know of MPs who have gone to BNI to report harassment and things on their phones.
Stalking. Okay.
And worse. So, the phone must be attributed to a single person in this country. And that is why in Nigeria, just across the board, they find MTN $5-point-something billion and they settle for $1.7 billion. Just this week.
Free tax.
They've settled.
Because they flouted a certain regulation.
What was the regulation?
They should have registered.
They should have registered. Why? Because it is going to protect me and you.
And we know the issue in Nigeria was about terrorism because they felt that Boko Haram were but then you and I know the issue of transaction is important, but we also know that the well laid out structures for commercial banking are there. And so my first thought initially when I started hearing this weeks back or even months back about regulation, etc., and now we have a whole MP now positing it in Parliament, was that perhaps the commercial banks were trying to nip into the bud this whole great idea which had flourished in East Africa and Central Africa, etc.
If you look at East Africa, you know, because people live in the remoter parts of the country and had no access to financial institutions, even in India, for medical purposes, like doctor said, people living very far.
Even in Asia. Actually.
Exactly. Right. So that is the purpose of these smartphones. But like you said, it needs to be a second look must take place in terms of terrorism. That is where the problem is. Or money laundering. That's another problem.
How can somebody launder money?
If there are no limitations on how much you should transfer through the mobile system, right? I mean, huge monies will be, you know.
So they will dodge the main tracking system in the commercial bank.
There was a recent, in Pakistan or somewhere in Pakistan, if you are sending money to the United States, you cannot, through mobile phone, you cannot send more than a certain amount because they reckon that these ISIS were being financed by various,
not using the main regulated financial system.
Exactly. You know, somebody who is sitting in Europe and he's been financed to go, like what happened in Orlando. Right, they can transfer money through the money,
and the person will be hoarding it to buy enough weapons,
exactly,
to go and commit.
So it's got its useful purposes, but at the same time, like everything, if you don't put your eyes there, it will come to harm you one day. So I think it's in the right direction. But as to how we are going to do it is the problem, being that these are systems that you cannot arrest.
It's virtual.
It's virtual. You cannot just arrest it. So maybe
it's transient. You don't see it.
You don't see it. So maybe there will be some apps that will enable something to be done. And as for the registering of the numbers, it's very, very important for people like me and him. That sometimes somebody calls you and the person will be insulting you, and
just like that,
the number is unknown.
It's unknown.
Yeah, it's unknown, and
really?
Sometimes it's unknown. But I'm told that that if you go to the providers, they can trace the number.
If it's not registered.
Yeah, okay, that's true. If it's not registered,
well, the person can remove the chip and do it.
If it's registered, you remove it and they will still catch you.
Exactly.
Yeah, if it's registered. But it's not registered, so just throw it in your door.
That is why.
Or let's say that day happens to be rainy, just throw it in a random water.
Every SIM card must be registered.
How do we go about it as far as the regulation is concerned? Within the context of mainstreaming it into standard regulations of the banking sector?
Let me give an example. If I go to a bank now, if in Western Union, to transfer money, or my uncle decides to transfer money to me, they'll get his details on the form that the person will fill, and the forms that where the money is going to, the person's name, an ID number of the person or something. Why? It should make sure that it's a secure end-to-end transfer. So that with a slip that he's giving a code that he will give to the person who's going to get the money. The person goes and mentions that 10 or 12-digit code, and they know that it is the person. They say, oh, yes, you've mentioned the code, but where is your passport? Or where is your ID card? And the person brings the name, my uncle put the Matthew Pokopempe, and the template code.
So some level of computation or imputation of some data.
Yes, not the data per se, but the security of the transfer effect. It's done. You can't go to a bank and transfer money even to your own other account in another bank.
Without going through
details
the processes.
without going
They will tell you still photocopies and things, unless maybe you have a personal banker who knows your and will do that for you on the
But
side.
even that, there'll be a
Even that,
documentation of
Yes, they'll do. I mean, he will do it on your behalf,
Yes.
but because they haven't.
And when people say because it's virtual, it is trackable, it's easily trackable than even banking system. You know something? I stay with the bank, and I've been with the bank as far as I'm concerned since 2002. Yesterday, they called me from bank that they want to update my details, and I should bring my passport picture. Can you believe I could have opened an account without the passport picture? Is it possible?
No.
They've misplaced it.
A standard commercial
A
bank.
commercial bank. People put
Top
their
commercial bank.
Yes, people put their treasury in safe custody in banks, and they've lost it in this country, and not only in this country, all over the world. So virtually, it's easy to digitize and store, and follow and track in the next 10 years than paper. That's what I want to say. So the applications do exist. It's to make the end-to-end security finalized that we should insist that every tracker. Now people, Michael will tell you, people can go and buy thousands of SIM cards.
Yeah.
This SIM card fraud, how do they get it?
Exactly. How do
If
they get
every card was being registered, and we were insisting that the mobile companies, whether you like it or not, if you give me, you see, sometimes I'm radical. If you give a SIM card out that is not pre-registered to a human person, you should be surcharged. Because if we can do that, that SIM card fraud will be eliminated more easily. What do they happen now?
It will
They
be
go-
kept. It can be eliminated because they
I'm
always.
telling you, it cannot be
they
done
are a step
because
ahead.
the SIM card, you need about thousands of SIM cards to do that, and before you can generate 1,000 names with 1,000 ID cards,
You will
and
suffer.
And the question is,
it will be. It will
who
be
sells
too.
them the SIM card?
That's the thing.
That's the-
That's what I'm
It
saying.
will be too laborious.
So
for
we
you
should
to-
probably be thinking in this country, because the laws are already there. We should rather be thinking about the general law. Let's say that within the next 1 year, if all telcos don't abide by that, we will go a fine of the Nigerian type.
All right, but right now it means that the transactions are going through the mobile service providers.
Yes.
Okay. So who? So how do they pay taxes on those ones?
That's on
No,
that's
second
on
issue.
that's
Because,
on-
for example,
yeah.
I know I've paid people who have worked for me. I mean, in some small jobs
Yeah.
that I've gotten on the side, and I'm in Kumasi, in Tamale, and giving them 2,500,
through the mobile
2,000. Yes.
Yeah. There's no tax on it.
So what they take from me?
When
It's-
you are
it's-
when
it's-
you're
yes,
transferring
when
that
I-
money, you
yes,
pay,
when I'm trying,
you pay
I
the
pay
commission.
something, and
But
then
the
it's
commission-
even worse
but
when
the
you
commission
don't
belongs
have
to
the account.
provider.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's been-
The
And
government gets them.
And then when the person goes there to have some deductions.
So if you pay the person,
You-
Okay.
you don't pay when you go to collect your money.
Okay.
Right. So that's the problem, that the smartphone has brought in its way efficient way of doing business, right? But what are the side effects? That's what we are talking about. For instance, those operating the system don't pay tax, right? So
Yeah, I don't think
we are
they
talking
pay
about
tax.
millions and
For
millions.
example, just some
33
few.
33 billion.
billions.
Just-
Even more than the banks.
Yes, for example,
You
yes,
understand?
there
More
was
than
a
the banks.
publication
Yes.
by, was it a survey or
Yeah,
so?
that
That's
they are
33
even
billion.
what do you call it?
Outnumbering the main banking
the
system.
main bank system. You
In
know?
terms of the level,
Yeah,
volumes of transactions.
Exactly. So my question is that if they are in parliament, the MP who's probably will have got some ideas.
He's one of the most knowledgeable MPs as far as
Yes, as far as IT is
So
concerned.
let him bring
it's-
it on board for us to also interrogate and see how best we can.
I was going to chip in.
but-
It was a similar thing that made NMC bring in their regulations, because now you pick a mobile phone and you hear broadcasts, you hear news,
Yes.
you hear things.
People giving you salts. You don't want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Shouldn't we regulate all that?
Yeah. And people
And you are a
say-
customer.
No, so the customer is probably, if you like it, it's good. But if I don't like it, so there should be regulations about who you can send these things to.
Yeah.
Now lottery, they are all of the thing.
There's
Why shouldn't-
insurance now
Why
on
shouldn't we be
mobile.
careful
Yeah,
about
yeah.
about such messages going to underage people on lottery?
Because you don't know who is
You could
holding,
do it.
who's
Okay.
holding the phone.
But let me ask this: how do we dovetail this whole argument into a bigger picture of the non-availability of a data system for our country, because now we don't have a national data system. So we said we want to register SIM card holders. How do we link that to somebody who has his information in a national database, etc.? So then it makes trackability.
Roland, even before that, we should be very careful about our civil liberties. That we shouldn't allow this to encroach on our civil liberties. Even though we want to ensure that there's some sanity in the system, we should also be very mindful, right? That don't go to the extreme. That when a doctor is speaking to somebody will be sitting somewhere listening to his conversation. It becomes very frightening.
Yeah.
So we should also be very mindful of those things as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thank God that my uncle will bring the issue of civil liberties up. Because their government has just introduced into Parliament. Serious.
What's that?
Postal packet interception communication.
But that is by
bill.
law. You do that by law.
Wait. And the Ghana Bar Association, the bill that has been submitted, read, I think, an 18-pager. Why that law infringes, every bit of that law infringes upon our civil liberties. And the government was trying to bully, but maybe now they will think about it well. Civil liberties, you cannot exchange civil liberties for anything in the world. Man's innate ability to feel free and pursue his own liberties are very, very fundamental. So when we talk about regulations, it is regulations to ensure civil liberties are not infringed. Exactly. So I agree with you 100% that the regulations should ensure that our civil liberties, so that if a lawyer is talking to this client, there's have a confidentiality that even the lawyer cannot go and expose. If a doctor is consulting a patient, they cannot go and expose those things. So the law should cover that. If there's no law or regulation, then it's free for all.
Okay.
Who says they cannot, a mobile company cannot start spreading pornography around?
Yeah.
How would you know?
Or materials, obscene
or
materials.
of obscene things.
Okay. There's a story on the front page of the New Crusading Guide. It talks about furor over Supreme Court ruling, and Abu Ramadan, EC, they're back in court for clarification and interpretation. And I know that I've heard you speak on this very subject, but I haven't heard my elder brother speak on it a lot more. So perhaps I want to pick your mind on this very subject because just over the last 24 hours, there's a publication by Samson Ladi Ayenini about how now there needs to be some perhaps clarification on what really the Supreme Court said and the various interpretations that have been given to it. But foremostly also, we know the body that has been given the mandate to implement what the Supreme Court said is the Electoral Commission, and they've come out with their interpretation. It's not subject to whatever.
I would like to be brief and speak as a Ghanaian electorate. I don't want to speak as a member of Parliament or as a member of MPP on this one.
Okay.
I must also disclose that I'm a member of the Entity Tender Committee of EC.
The Entity Tender Committee of the Electoral Commission.
By virtue of that, they need 2 MPs on the from the side.
So you're representing Parliament?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So that is basically the whole hula baloo that has generated on this issue is principally or basically because there's information gap. That information gap is feeding into a perception about how somebody will see something. The Supreme Court has given a ruling. And my main instinct is that you have to follow it, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, you go back to the court and say, like Samson Ayene is saying, this ruling you gave, we cannot implement it as a commission. So think about it. If you want to follow it, then you must demonstrate to Ghanaians that because of the court, I'm going to do A, B, C.
Haven't they done that?
I'm telling you, if Ghanaians, the citizens, were well informed about the EC, what EC is doing about the Supreme Court decision, people will not go back to the court. Some Ayenini, who is a lawyer, will not have written the article he wrote. There should be a clarity from the Supreme Court about what they are requesting the EC.
Forget about all the positions you hold and your rules, etc.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
As a normal electorate,
yes.
No, you electorate,
yes.
Me Roland electorate, him Adekoka electorate. forget about in the role we play in public discourse, etc. What did you understand plainly about the ruling of the Supreme Court?
I would want to answer that and even give some substance to it. After the court ruling, there was a Joy News File program with Fuseni and others, and they all came to a conclusion that when you just read it ordinarily, those you can only delete and are allowed to re-register are those who came to register with something that does not show their citizenship, meaning NHI card holders, because of the earlier ruling of court, and then now, if it came, that allowed to re-register, because you can't allow somebody who is underage to re-register. Neither could you allow somebody who is a foreigner to re-register. So on the face of it, that's what it will look. But I'm telling you, there are members of parliament who register with NHI card.
True, I know.
Okay.
I know 2 of them.
Okay, good. So just imagine that person gets back to parliament, and one ordinary citizen takes the person to court that he registered. I'm not talking about 2012. In this 2016, his name should not have been on the register because he registered with an NHI card.
So he shouldn't contest? Or
you can't contest. What is your basis? He is challenging your legitimacy on the roll. So that is why there's a body of knowledge that let's sit down. Supreme Court, you cannot say you are not going to follow Supreme Court. And if the person who took you to court understands this differently from you, who decision has been made, you go back to that court for interpretation, which I think is being done and is for the good of all of us. But let's presume that the court says, okay, since EC, you came to tell us that you have the names of those who registered with the NHIS card. Publish it. Allow them to show another evidence of citizenship, be it 2 human beings or something, and keep their names on. But fundamentally, the problem we are in now is going to be made worse because the EC has already come out to tell us that it is opening 29,000 polling stations for 2016. Nobody in this country knows which polling station he or she is going to vote till exhibition. So I will take it upon myself to encourage all Ghanaians that for this particular exhibition, in order not to have problems during election day, everybody should go there and affirm that yes, truly, on 7th November or 7th December, this is the police station.
Otherwise,
I'm coming. But the IPAC has already taken a decision that this exhibition should be increased to 3 weeks. The IPAC has already taken that decision, which the EC is going to do.
When is the exhibition supposed to start?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
So in those 3 weeks...
Do you have a timetable for it? I thought you should.
No, because of all these things. In those 3 weeks, when somebody goes there, the person should be able to see his name in that polling station.
I know that is where I'm coming
to vote. If the person registered with NHIA card, that the Supreme Court says is illegal, he should be given the opportunity to bring something. No, there, because we are going to also to use the verification machines in all the polling stations, which already.
Now that's your proposition.
Not my proposition. It has already been agreed.
No,
by
your
EC.
Proposition about coming, bringing
saying,
2 people.
That's what I'm saying. That
ideally should have been.
Now the law is saying 2 people, EC card.
What do you understand first plainly by what they say? They said they should do something within the processes of the law.
That's what I'm saying. That the law as of now is CI 91. The CI 91 gives someone to the EC the opportunity to strike somebody off the register.
Really?
Yes.
Just like that?
Just like that.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm a member of parliament. I have CI 91 in my car. You can send somebody here to go and get it and I'll read it to you. Which didn't exist even in CI 75 or 72. So what the EC cannot do is that they cannot so much to do it without giving the person a chance to register. So the only time that it can do that fairly is to exhibit. And in doing exhibition, because EC during exhibition exhibits those who have doubly registered who should be struck off in a different form. Yeah. So if they indicate that this police station, Mr. Addis police station, 100 people are supposed to vote there, 50 came to register. I tell you, it has become me and him. I
don't remember, for example, what I used. I think I used my passport or something.
I'm sure you used your NHI.
No, I don't have any. I haven't registered before. Yeah. So as a result of that, now for those who have registered with NHIA card, how then, let's say, if they can't remember, who then reminds them that, oh, you register with NHIA card? Now, if that should be the Electoral Commission, can the Electoral Commission then say that, oh, I know that 10 million people register with the NHIA card and these are their names, and as a result of that, these number of people, please come forward because your names now are being taken off the register, and bring new particulars of people to come and authenticate and register. Can it be done that way?
See, there's a way of removing the names of people who are not supposed
right
to.
now within the law.
It's there.
Which is what?
Which is you go and do an exhibition.
And
you do an exhibition.
And who comes out voluntarily to say?
If I know that
who challenges? Who does the challenge?
Well, we the people in the area.
What about the Electoral Commission? I know the law doesn't state that.
The law says.
Well, the Electoral Commission
can also challenge.
The new CI91, they can also challenge, right? And then you pick up a form, you fill the form, and there's a district registration officer. We all appear before that person, and then if it is proven beyond reasonable doubt that you are not supposed to be on the register, your name is removed.
If it's that simple, why is it?
What my uncle is even saying makes it complicated. I don't go that style. Yeah. I would say that if EC indicates on that during exhibition that you registered and you come and you have a passport, right, or something else, and you show it, you should affirm through the same BVD they've provided.
This thing that he is saying.
But that is what you are talking about, verification. Which the Supreme Court says that it's not part of our law. That you are, on exhibition, I have to come and verify that my name is there. Authenticate what my name is.
Never said that. Anyway, he never said that because it had not been part of that.
Well, we understand. Look, what is all this fuss about?
It's about NHIS card holders who registered.
Let me tell you
and
something.
the law outlaws their existence in the register.
Let me tell you something.
It's basic.
The day that they were going to
register,
was it lawful or unlawful?
It was, but now it's unlawful.
I'm coming. So the day that they were going to register, it was lawful, and they did take part in an election. The election that elected my brother here to be an MP. Election took place with those people that today you are claiming are illegal registrants.
So you are saying that.
So the court ruled on that.
I'm coming.
So you are but you are saying that so illegal people
if you go
by the time they were legal.
So if you go on that trajectory, so it means that my brother sitting here has no business being
But that is why the court ruled that at that time it was legal.
Exactly.
But going forward from that ruling,
this is what we need to do.
So going forward, I would then say that at the time I was registering, I was a legal registrant.
Yes, true.
Why do you subject me to another registration?
Because now you are not.
Why?
Because now you are not.
No, then you see, then we are.
Can that become a contentious
Then you are saying that it's a retrospective law.
It is not.
That is what you are saying.
You are not even understanding the issues, Uncle.
No, I am understanding.
You are not understanding the issues.
Because I am not singing your tune.
No, you are not singing my tune.
That is the divide.
It's your definition of retrospective.
No. That is
your definition of retrospective. I'm sad.
That is what is happening now.
Let me ask this question. My time is up. Let me ask this question.
Because I am not saying, I want us to take that political angle. That is my understanding.
No, all this very argument.
If you took it out, you'd have understood. Your glasses, your shades are NBC.
Let me ask this. Let me ask this question. And truly, Doctor, what really is the difficulty with, or all the sides that are arguing about the position of the Electoral Commission? What they came out to say, this is what we'll do about the ruling.
The problem with Electoral Commission's decision
proposition
or position was that it says their understanding is what they are doing. The East Court's ruling is their understanding, and they think that's what they are doing. The people who took the matter to court are saying that that is not what the court said. So eventually, I said yesterday on another TV station that if I were the EC, I would have gone to the court in the first place to seek clarity. Because people just don't still understand and think that the EC is not following the court. So I think.
But why should the EC go to court? It says that. I understand the thing.
That's what I'm saying. Because EC.
So why should the EC? Why should the EC, which has done, or the EC should be concerned about comments or the concerns?
The EC.
That's what you're saying.
I said two things.
You're saying the EC should go to court.
I said two things.
But the EC has a position.
I said two things.
And you are saying that.
I said two things. Don't take half and run. You can't run with one leg. Listen to me carefully. I said once the court case came out, there are two things. The EC feels that they can't abide by the court decision. What? I'm asking.
They never said they can't abide.
Listen to me. Let me
No,
finish.
that is the word
They can't abide.
They
So
didn't
they will
say
go
that.
to court for clarity. Or
That is if.
that is if you listen, if you take your time and you remove your NDC glasses.
You are putting your-
and
the second one.
The second one is that the people went to court say, oh, what the person I took that case against says that he's doing this, which I don't think is what the court ordered. So please, court, clarify. That's what they are doing.
But why should the EC go to court? That's what I'm asking.
You just didn't listen, right?
Why should
No,
they-
I listen to
Your
you.
question is becoming so sweet to your ears.
No.
I hope that you're not saying that my questions are NDC questions.
No, I'll never do that.
All right.
I'll never do that.
I won't give you a time because of my.
No problem.
Matthew Opoku Prempeh is a member of parliament for Misha. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's always good. You have a good positions. Always take. You always take when you're arguing. I think that's great.
Thank you.
And then also
My uncle, who's not looking after me.
Joseph Nia Adekoka is a member of the NDC, chairman of the party's Greater Accra chapter. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much.
All right. We're taking a break. When we come back, Sweet Becky will be here with entertainment. Just stay on.